making some yogurt today in our Instant Pot. You can do the same thing in a pressure cooker, but I'm going to use Instant Pot in the title because I think it gets searched more often. So come along with me on this side of the firmament. You can use fresh, raw, cow or goat milk. Now, it doesn't have to be fresh from your animals. It can be pasteurized milk from the store. I'm personally using Nigerian Dwarf Goat milk that's about 2 to 3 days old. This yogurt will last at least a week in the fridge, no matter how old the milk was when you started. I found this to be a good option for milk that is about 5 to 6 days old because the culture prevents the milk from going to waste by extending the milk's life. Oh yeah, keep on for 40 minutes. Been a little bit longer. As you can see, I went 44 minutes, but that's okay. You just open up the lid now, and you're gonna up the heat to saute. But you have to push keep warm / cancel first to cancel out this, and then hit saute, and then it's going to warm up. So it only took like 6 minutes, and then in checking the temperature, mind you, I kept the lid on. We are well over 185, which is your target temperature. At this point, you have to take it out and let it cool down to 110. That's our next step. Okay, so our yogurt, well, right now it's just milk, but the milk is cooled down to like 114 degrees. An old way people did this was they stuck their finger in, and as long as it wasn't hot for their finger for a good 10-second hold, they figured that the bugs that live in the yogurt starter you're going to add would probably survive. Your finger could survive, and that's a pretty good bet. I still measure it, 114. It's fine, you just don't want it to go under 110 really before you put it back in its warm little house for the night. So this is a 1/4 cup of yogurt from just a store-bought Greek yogurt, whole milk yogurt. You do a 1/4 cup per half gallon. I have a whole gallon of milk, so I'm using half a cup of yogurt starter. And you just add some of your warmed milk to it to thin it out, because you want to pour it back into the milk and stir it in so that the bugs really get distributed within all the milk. Something that I want to add is when I pulled this Instant Pot crock out of the Instant Pot warmer thing, I put the lid back on because the temperature that this machine actually stays is important for the culture in the milk multiplying when you put it in there, what we're going to do next, for 8 to 12 hours. I'm only going to do 8 hours because that's plenty yogurty enough for us. I've let it go longer than that and it doesn't wreck it, but just for preference, I always stick to about 8 hours. You just put it back in its house. This doesn't have to be on at all, so I'm just going to unplug it. It's just sitting in there for a warm, controlled little baby making home. Hey, grown-up homeschooler here. Of course it's not babies, it's bacteria. It's going in and feeding off of the milk. It's breaking a more complex substance, the milk, down into a simpler one, the yogurt, that's easier for us to digest. It's fermentation. It's not babies. And then you wrap it in a bath towel. That's what's wrong with me, is I never plan what I'm gonna say. I'm like John the Baptist. I just said the first thing that comes to my mind.
Baby
Okay, after your yogurt has sat for 8 to 12 hours, you need to take it out of the crock, put some tin foil on it or a different covering, and put it in the fridge. When it gets cooled down, you'll be at the consistency you have reached. Sometimes it's not, as we call this, kind of stringy. Sometimes it's more like Greek yogurt and just thick and kind of clumpy. But whatever the consistency is fine. It just is a difference in temperature while it was culturing. I'm going to separate this out into containers. We just use old yogurt containers from the past. You can be fancy and use mason jars or whatever floats your boat. But then we date it and stick it in the fridge and use it in smoothies. Levi's making some kind of gluten-free yogurt oatmeal pancake waffle stuff over here. So if those turn out, you never know. And this is a mess from last night when they were hemming pants we got at the thrift store into shorts. So if you want to see a video on either our waffle oatmeal recipe or our hemming pants situation, please comment down below. Thank you.